This week's champion trends feature Ezreal, Twitch, Skarner, Nidalee, Kayle, and LeBlanc. I'm Lindsay Geektron with Zam Network, and this is LolKing's League Trends. Let's dive into Summoner's Rift. Champions on the increase in pick rates this week have Skarner up over 4.5% from last week. Tristana, Ezreal, Janna, and Twisted Fate follow up. Patch 4.10 was quite a doozy. The rise in Ezreal's pick rate is mainly due to the new item Essence Reaver that was recently introduced to the Rift. Essence Reaver gives lifesteal, cooldown reduction, attack damage, and it also restores mana based on how much damage you do. This item harkens back to the blue Ezreal build from last season that revolved around having a lot of cooldown reduction and mana by building items like Muramana, Iceborne Gauntlets, and Last Whisper. Because of the shiny new item, players are testing a new blue Ezreal build with the addition of Essence Reaver, hence the bump in pick rates. However, it does not seem like it will bring Ezreal up to par with the other carries, as his win rate is currently still under 50%. Other carries like Lucian still seem to dominate the Rift in the marksman role and manage to outshine, outplay, and outclass Ez patch after patch. Decrease in pick rates this week feature Twitch, Lucian, Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, and Karthus. After last patch, it's not surprising that players are staying away from the Smelly Rat and his new friend, the Nerf Bat. These nerfs were pretty big, and it might turn Twitch from a hero into a zero. Twitch's survivability was lowered a bit with the nerfs to his ambush. It now takes him up to 3 seconds longer to get into stealth if he took damage just prior to activating the ability. This could be the difference between barely getting out of a sticky situation alive or getting stomped by your opponents. Twitch's damage also took a big hit on his passive, Deadly Venom. Prior to patch 4.10, Twitch started out with 2 damage, which then scaled into 8. Now he starts with 1 damage, and Deadly Venom only scales to 6. It might not sound like much, but when you think about how quickly his passive stacks up, that's quite a hit to his overall effectiveness. Sorry everyone, but getting those dot kills will be much harder now. However, there might be a silver lining here. The changes to 80 items were on items Twitch doesn't really use. The nerf to Bloodthirster doesn't affect Twitch at all, since he's always been more of a Blade of the Ruin King and Infinity Edge kinda rat. Due to these changes, Twitch will have a much harder time making plays on the Rift. This week, the increase in win rates has Victor up first. Skarner, Rumble, Tristana, and Mordekaiser finish off the list. So Skarner, he's a thing now. While he didn't receive an official rework, lots of changes were made to his kit. The base damage on Skarner's abilities was tuned back a little bit, but in return he received some more CC. Skarner's passive, Crystallizing Sting, now applies a debuff called Crystal Venom on targets that are hit by Skarner's abilities. After a target receives 3 stacks of the debuff, Skarner's next basic attack will do extra damage and stun the target for up to 1 second. Skarner's ultimate, Impale, now will consume the venom stacks on the target, dealing up to 100 magic damage per stack. This gives Skarner more damage and impact when he uses his ultimate. Skarner's current win rate in solo queue is floating around 53% and steadily rising. He might be the next up-and-coming jungler now that Kha'Zix is out of the picture. Out with the bug, in with the bug. Champs on the decrease in win rates show Nidalee down over 7.5% from last week. Twitch, LeBlanc, Lucian, and Urgot rounded out. Nidalee has received a full rework to her kit, and people are still trying to figure out which role fits her current kit the best. Prior to patch 4.10, Nidalee was a poke-focused champion as she provided everything for a siege composition. With enough AP, her spear could nearly one-shot a squishy target, and with the long range on her spears, it was really low risk, high reward. With the rework, the power is shifted a little more towards her melee form. Stepping on a trap or getting hit with a spear now marks you. When Nidalee sees a target that's marked, she gains bonus effects to her ability in Cougar form. Her takedown will now do 33% more damage, her pounce will increase in range, and her swipe's cooldown will decrease. This forces Nidalee to switch to Cougar form to finish off her prey. She's also received the ability to switch forms at level 1, similar to Elise. This gives her wave clear at early levels and a strong presence in lane that wasn't really there before. She seems to be more of a damage bruiser now than a caster mage, and as such, she'll be a very popular champion for weeks to come. Goody! The increase in ban rate this week show Yasuo leading the list, while Kayle, Skarner, Nidalee, and Kassadin trail behind. Kayle's been on the rise ever since the Hurricane build became popular. Now she's one of the most contested top laners in competitive and sitting at nearly 70% ban rate in solo queue. She's best suited for solo lane as she can farm, and with the right items, she's a lane bully with insane wave clear that can push out anyone. With Nashor's Tooth and Hurricane, Kayle can instant clear a wave and roam where she pleases. Hurricane also gives her huge sustained damage in team fights and resistance shred on multiple targets as the item applies on hit effects. Kayle can be played in other roles as well. Because of her fast clear, she's a viable jungler, and she can also be played in the support role due to her harass and utility. it's likely for Kayle to continue her domination of the Rift as a highly contested pick in solo queue and competitive. Finally this week, the decrease in ban rate show LeBlanc is down by a huge percentage. Rengar, Karthus, Kha'Zix, and Twitch complete our last list. The only nerf to LeBlanc in the last patch was that her Sigil of Silence no longer has the full silence part, and as such has been renamed the Sigil of Malice. Even though this doesn't change the amount of damage she can dish, this is a bigger nerf than it seems. Not being able to silence lowers LeBlanc's trading potential in lane, as the opposing caster will have an easier time trading the damage back onto LeBlanc. This change could also be the difference for her to get a kill or not, which could then have a huge impact because as we all know, LeBlanc is a champion that can snowball out of control after a few early kills. A target can flash or heal away from LeBlanc in the middle of her combo due to her silence being removed, and that gives them a counterplay option to survive her burst. The Deceiver might not be as broken as she was before, but she's still a very strong option, so don't let your guard down yet. Trust me. And that does it for this week's show. Please be sure to check back every week for the latest League of Legends picks, bans, and win rates. Please be sure to like and comment below if you enjoy this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, LolKing.net, for more great content. Thanks to Cloth5 for the analysis. I'm Lindsay Geektron. You can follow me on Twitter @LindsayGeektron. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see everyone next week.